I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a meeting of the Ortonville Village Council, February 16th, 2026. It's about 6:09 p.m. that we're calling this meeting to order. I want to start off first by introducing the people that are at this table. This is Caitlin. She is the recording secretary for the village. Larry Hayden, who is a council member, as well as Linda Brooks, who's a council member, and Kay Green. The village manager is Matt Ryan. Melanie Nivelt is also a village council member. So is Ashley Mold. She is the most recent council member. And Alex Falker, who is also a new council member, but darn pretty well getting his feet wet. Can everybody hear me okay? I have a microphone I can use, but if I speak loudly, I think I'll end up being okay. I want to introduce myself. My name is Kenneth Quisenberry. I am the village council president. I've been a resident of the village for 56 years. I'm a Brandon High School graduate from 1977. I spent 25 years on the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. A good deal of that time was spent at the Brandon substation, meaning I would patrol Brandon Township and the village of Ortonville for a period of time. I spent 8 years on the Brandon School Board, and all 8 years I was the chairman of the Finance Committee. We had about a $33 million a year budget that I was in charge of overseeing. I did spend a couple of years as the president on the school board, so I have that experience as well. I was also the village president here about 20 years ago, and then my term expired and I didn't run, and a couple of terms went by, and then now I've since rerun. So this is my second stint at being the Village of Ortonville president. What that means is I think it makes me a stakeholder in what's happening here today.
Yeah.
So by being a stakeholder, it means I just shared that background so that I didn't just move into town last week. I want to introduce some people that are here today, or at least make them known. From Brandon Township is Tony Candeloro, and also Dana DePalma is here. Dana, how are you? Good to see you. Also from the from our planning commission is Bob MacArthur. He's here, as well as Pete Burkett. Yeah, there he is. There's Pete. Okay, good to know. Also from the DDA is Allie Reese. She's here. And of course, I already mentioned Dave Wilson. And in terms of past village council members, Pat George is here today.
Yep.
He's served on this board, so he's well aware of how this works, as is Tony Randazzo. So,
And Mark
Butsu.
oh,
Mark
yeah,
Butsu.
okay.
Mark
Is there any-
Robinson. Mark Robinson.
Oh, Mary Kasuba's on
And
here.
yes,
She
right.
was on the board with me in the first go-around. I just want to make sure that I didn't forget to introduce anyone that's here. Also, Shelby is here. She is from the Citizen newspaper, and that is our press people that take care of the news for us, and they put it out every week. So anything that usually happens here, people will find out from the paper, because at our normal meetings, we don't get this kind of attendance. But that's okay. If we were, yes, Dana.
I'm on the DDA too. Just
Oh, yeah, DDA member. Well, Dana sent me an email yesterday that said she is here wearing 3 hats, and I kind of can associate with that, because she's not only a village resident, and she's not only.
I'm not a village.
Okay, but you are a
I'm
you're a
DDA.
township,
I'm a township resident, so I care about,
and you care about this, yes,
Yep.
and you work in the village. So your place of employment is the village, as well as the fact that you're on the DDA, which is responsible for the business community in the town that we live in. I've made my opening statement. What I'm going to do is just go down this row and ask any of the council members if they want to say something before I get going. Once we get going, this is what's called a town hall meeting, and it's the first one I've ever been to. And I'm pretty sure we don't even have an agenda to go with. We just are going to work this on the fly, meaning I will call on people. Anybody who wants to speak is going to have a chance to. And with that, what I'd like to do is ask the recording secretary to do roll call for us.
I didn't have to bring a list.
You don't need a list.
Right.
How about this? Alex is here. Ashley's here. Melanie's here. Kay is here. Linda's here. And Larry's here. And so am I.
Thank you.
With that, I would like to ask. With that, I'd like to ask everyone to stand so we can do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much for the pledge. We're going to now move into, well, I'm actually going to go around. And Larry, do you have anything you want to announce ahead of time?
Well, in relation to just my views on the whole topic. Yeah, should I'll stand up.
Here we are, Larry.
Sorry, I know I don't project well. I'll try to speak loudly. Okay, or use the microphone. Okay, I'm a village resident for over 30 years. I've been
Hold it closer to your mouth, that's all.
I've been a village resident for over 30 years. I started out being involved in the community way back in the 90s when I was first on council. I've been involved with a number of different groups in the community, and I care deeply about this community. I think it's a great place to be. I will say that one of the things that I'm most concerned about around this whole issue, and that I feel that is something that we really need to try to do better on as a council, is the relationship with the township. I know that's deteriorated. I don't have enough facts to know exactly a root cause on that, but we welcome any suggestions on things we can do to try to improve this relationship and get us back to where we used to be and how we used to work together. I also just want to say that when I saw some of the information about this, I did some checking on my own. I think I misspoke slightly at the last council meeting where I said I paid 5 times more in taxes to the township. That was pre-road tax. I checked my actual last year and I only pay about 4 times more, or 21%. But I really feel that for that 21% that I pay for the village taxes, the majority of the services that really benefit me the most as a resident are coming from the village. And that's just my view as a resident too. And I really would, my biggest concern if this dissolution happens would be the loss of our autonomy as a village, because if the township takes over, now we're just small percentage of the total community, and it's up to the township board and township supervisor to decide what's best for the village of Ortonville. And there's no long-term guarantees on what that would look like. So that would be my biggest concern. And with that, I don't want to take any more time because I want to leave more time for you guys.
Thanks. Linda.
Thanks, Larry.
Are you okay if I stay seated?
You may.
And you could probably hear me because I
Yes.
played shortstop. And you got to have a big mouth for that. No, I want to say that I too, I've lived in the village for over 30 years. I raised my kids here. I live right on Church Street near Mill, so I'm right in the heart of it. But I'm just surprised on why we're here. I know we've been talking about taxes, and for me, taxes are a painful part of life. And if you look at your tax bill, which this has really helped me educate me, I went back and pulled out my tax bills, and I look in my township tax bill, and again, like Larry, it's much higher than my village tax bill, but most of what's on there is a lot of Oakland County charges.
Yeah.
The school is another big one. We pay for our library. I mean, these are things that I support paying for, but I was surprised at how much is Oakland County. And I think many of us feel like we're that little northern tip of Oakland County, and we're paying taxes just like those people in Troy and Novi and Pontiac and Rochester Hills and Birmingham, and then us little farmers up here. And how often do we feel that we don't quite, the perks of living in Oakland County don't quite reach us way up here in the north? I did a lot of research. Brandon Township is known for its rural atmosphere, and the village is the hub for the community. In fact, Ortonville is the only incorporated municipality in Brandon Township. So this is our space to bring us all together. The village has created space for parades and fairs and events, the farmers market. We have a very unique experience for Halloween. This is a tradition that my kids have spread amongst all their friends, and it is unknown to any other place. I live, like I said, 3 houses away. I've had up to 900 kids come past my house on Halloween. Our Christmas luminaries that we do each year, the Memorial Day parade, and a walk to the cemetery down M15 with a flyover. A lot of this local control over these things is important, and I fear that these traditions will eventually be lost if we are no longer the Village of Ortonville. I also think that'll be hard because Brandon Township will have to justify why our little 1 mile square village gets extra funds, or they will have to create a special tax so that the village people in that 1 square mile will pay more than the rest of the people in the township. I'm concerned about our historical buildings. Currently, they're owned by the village. We are responsible for keeping them up and going. Alan Algeiers has done a great job of reinvigorating the old mill, and we have the old town hall. I think both of these are important historical buildings. I just want to say that I also agree with Larry. Beware of the vague statements that you're hearing about what the township can do. I was at the DDA meeting when this first was announced, and there were a lot of concerning information about the TIF dollars. Our DDA has been in existence for 40 years. The last 20, they have received Main Street accreditation and they won the Excellence Award in 2025-26. They've just won a ton of awards in the last several years. And there are a lot of legal complexities to all of this. One of the things is the TIF funding. The township would need to independently establish its own DDA. A DDA cannot simply be transferred from the village to the township. So our DDA would go from capturing these TIF dollars, which tax increment financing, Google it, that's what I did, 40 years worth of grabbing this tiny little amount. They'll start over. They also now get some from the village and some from the township. They will no longer get any from the village because we won't be a municipality. So these are just some of my concerns, the DDA and our longstanding traditions. Thank you for your time.
Kay Green?
Thank you. I have a loud voice too, so I don't think I'll need the microphone. I moved out here in 1988, and I came from Waterford, and this little community I fell in love with it. And I thought, what can I do to give back? So there was an opening on the Planning Commission, so I got on the Planning Commission, and I served there 18 years. And then like a year after I was on the Planning Commission, an opening came up on the Village Council. And I ran and was elected, and I've served over 30 years with a break in between there, but over 30 years. Well, I'm going to just read this now, the rest of it, because this is one of the few places where you can actually make a difference and don't get dominated by township policies. When you have local control, you have a say in what happens in the village. Why is local control important? If we don't have local control, the township can decide that they want a special assessment district, say for sewers. And this means that everybody in the township will be able to vote, but the district probably is going to be the downtown area, and we will be the ones paying for it, not everybody in the township. So to me, that's important. You have no say, and yet you're going to be footing the bill for all of it. And my village taxes are about $700, and my township taxes are like $3,500. And I believe that the $700 is a fair amount to keep our local control. And I realize that some of you who've moved in lately pay a lot more than that. However, that was because of the Headley Amendment and Proposal A, both of which were voted and became a state law in the 70s. It states that the limitations on the growth of the establishment of individual properties to the lesser of inflation or 5%. The second part was the establishment of uncapping property values. Uncapping refers to the process of increasing the property's taxable value to the state equalized value at the time of the change of ownership. Have you ever asked yourselves why the township wants to take over the village? We didn't ask for this. We were just as surprised as many of you. What is their goal in taking us over? Our village was established in 1902, and we have had a balanced budget every single year. We work within the 8 mills. This has not been raised since 1950. We are still operating on this with the same amount of money. Those of us who serve on the village council don't do it for the fame, glory, or money, and we make $50 to $5 a meeting, whether the meeting's an hour, 4 hours, the time we spend getting ready for it, the things we have to do after the meetings. And we're also residents of the village and want what's best for the village. And we do it because we care, and we want you to remember we're village residents too. So in closing, we're anxious to hear your comments and concerns.
True enough. Melanie Nivell?
Whoa.
If you need a microphone.
Yeah, I think I'm good. Thank you for coming, first of all, and I did not write up something, because I thought this would be short and sweet, but. Okay. All right, thank you for coming. And if you haven't done so, we are taking questions. So the whole purpose of this was to hear from you. We did not bring this petition on. This was done by business owners in the village who have initiated this. So I know at the one meeting, people came and were concerned why we brought this on, and we did not. And we have just as many questions as you, but we've all been digging into it and researching to try and find out, to go off of almost everything that people have said. There are things online that are inaccurate. Our taxes will go down. Not really. DDA will just go over. No, it's not that easy. And that DDA, by the way, that is done, it starts over again, but it starts on the value of the properties today. So we started the values of the properties years ago, I don't know,
1986.
Yeah, 1986. So that's why the DDA is now, getting a budget. It will start all over and won't gain anything until it starts getting on the value of the properties. So it's just not that easy. DPW, anyone that knows our DPW, they do a phenomenal job. And our streets are plowed, our sidewalks are shoveled. That all will fall under Oakland County. They will not be doing the neighborhoods or coming out and shoveling the sidewalks. Just know that that is now on us. And it's already been mentioned by the township supervisor. He had put a statement out. I was trying to find it and I couldn't. That he is going to do, if he's in that position, and mind you, this does not mean Jason Rumble will be there, but a SAD, he will do that immediately, and to try and keep DPW, and to do road maintenance and sidewalks. So if we save 100 to 200 on taxes by becoming the township, once we get that SAD for DPW, and that will go on, because the DPW won't go away. And then, if we do an SAD to finish the streets, that's another tax. We will probably be actually at a higher tax rate, unfortunately. So we have to do our due diligence. And part of that is finding out what questions you have. Because we know that we are not thinking of all of them, and we want to hear from you. And I think that's about it. There was one other thing. Oh, we were at 8 mills. I know Kay mentioned we've been at, and we kept at 8 mills. We are not there right now. We did a 2.7 for the streets. That will be off in 2 years. Or hopefully, if we get the streets done within this year, it'll be off. That was just to do the streets. But if this happens and those are not done, that project will go away. And if it does come back, it will go through Oakland County at a much higher rate. Trust me on that one. So I have been here maybe 23-ish years. I'm a newbie. I will always be a newbie, according to my neighbors. And out of that, I've been 19 years serving, whether it's council, planning commission, or volunteering with DDA. And currently I wear 2 hats. I'm on the planning commission and on the council. So just thank you for coming, and we are hoping to get a list of really good questions, hoping to spark something in us that we're not thinking of too. So appreciate you taking President's Day and coming.
Ashley Mold from the Village Council.
I definitely need this because I'm quiet. I'm the newbie. I was just appointed last week. Thank you.
But you're returning.
Yeah.
I'm returning.
You wanna quit?
I was on in 2024 for a short stint. I was appointed then as well, and then tried to do the election. Didn't get voted in. Alex got it. And so now I'm back. I am a newbie, in a sense, to Ortonville. I came from California for a hot little bit, and then Clarkston. And this has been a whirlwind, in a sense. I spent the weekend learning about taxes and SADs to research this for everyone. So I don't have much to say as far as everything goes because I haven't been on in a year, and so I don't have as much transparency, and I'm probably along with all of you guys and wondering what's happening. So
We're right there too.
yeah, so hopefully we can get through this and answer all your questions, and hopefully try to answer all your questions as much as possible. I will say I did do some research where the SADs, because I had never heard of it, no idea what that is. Sounds very stealthy, not a fan. I did find, so our 2 mills that we increased the roads for, it increased my tax, which I still have a high one because I just moved here. It increased it by $200 or so, right? When I looked it up for if it went through the SAD for that, what the 2 mills would be, it was still right around the same price. So initially I was like, oh, that's not bad. Okay, I can do this. The SAD was for 10 years that it would last that long, where this one was 2 years and done. So in a general perspective of everything, that's a little bit more sketchy in a way, because what happens when they add sewers? What happens when they add more road, if we need sidewalks repaired, if we need this?
Equipment.
It just bounces right on top of each other, and now we have an SAD for 40, 50 years, and it just increases. So just a perspective from what I researched anyway, and yeah, that's it. I'm good. Bye.
Before he begins, this is Alex Falker. He is a new member on the board as well, but I need to personally thank him because he's the reason this meeting's being held right now. About a few weeks ago, he made the suggestion when there were these questions flying about that, hey, maybe a good idea is a town hall meeting where everybody in the village gets to come and speak to us, and then we get a chance to research it and get answers to it. But I just want to personally thank Alex and go right ahead.
All right, thank you. I hope I can speak loud enough for everybody. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming. I want to thank Matt, our village president, our village manager, and Ken, our village president. Thank you for answering the request to answer this petition. It's nights like this that reminds me why our community is special. We show up, we care, and we fight for a place we call home. As village trustee, my role tonight is not to persuade you to sign this petition or not sign it. My role is to make sure that the resident tells you the truth, the facts, the full stories, so you can make a full decision that in a city that we all invested in. When a community considers dissolving itself, it's not just a technical decision, it's emotional, it's historical. It affects identity, services, taxes, safety, public value, property values, and everyday things we all rely on, from snow plowing to sidewalks to zoning that protects our homes and our businesses. We're not talking about flipping a light switch. We're talking about taking apart a 176-year-old village piece by piece and hoping it can all get put together correctly. But hope is not a strategy, and hope is not what the law requires. Michigan law says that before a village dissolves, we must understand how assets are handled, who pays debts, how employees transition, what happens to zoning, who takes over roads, utilities, sidewalks, and so much more. Yet this petition doesn't really include any of that. No timelines, no effective dates, no financial breakdowns, no legal requirements, no agreements with the township, not even how disputes would be resolved during the transition. We have a long list of questions with almost no answers. The petition makes big claims about savings and millages, but without the math, without the cost estimates, without SAD details, without fact-checking the numbers, we can't ask our residents to gamble on a maybe. It's not just numbers on a page, it's people's budgets, it's retirees, it's young families, it's homeowners and renters. It's the future of the services we all depend on. And when we're talking about dissolving a village, we're also talking about the DPW workers, our staff, the people who answer our calls, plow our roads, maintain our parks, protect our records, and even keep our operations moving. These aren't line items, these are human beings, and the petition doesn't address their jobs, their pensions, their benefits, or how any of them would be handled. That matters, it matters morally, and it matters legally. And on top of that, financial and legal agreements, there's something deeper. This village was founded in 1848 by Amos Orton. Generations have lived here, they have worked here, they've built their families and poured their hearts into this place. Our downtown, our heritage buildings, our traditions, our sense of belonging, none of that isn't even mentioned in this petition. To me, that says a lot. I want to be clear, I'm not here to tell you what choice to make. This community is smart, engaging, and capable of making their own decisions, but only if we have a full and accurate information, and right now we don't. And at this time, I ask for our entire community to make a historical, irreversible decision based on emotion, estimates and assumptions, and unanswered questions. Before any vote, we need formal agreements, financial data assets, clear timelines, legal transition plans, understanding service impacts, details on staffing, roads, zoning, and assets, no handshakes, no guesses, and that we'll figure it out later. Our residents deserve better than that, and I've come to love this village, and I know many of you do too. And no matter where you stand on this issue, we owe it to ourselves and to the future of this community to make this decision with our eyes wide open. So I ask all of you to keep asking questions, keep requesting documents, keep pressuring for clarity from the township, the village, and the petition organizers. Whether this decision we choose, let's make sure it's based on facts, not assumptions, on truth, not speculation. Our community deserves nothing less. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Very good.
Matt Ryan is the village manager right now, and he would like to speak a word.
Mine won't be nearly as long. For those of you who haven't met me, I'm the nerd. I'm the numbers nerd, like the spreadsheet guy. So those of you who have technical questions and are looking for the facts behind all this stuff, I have kind of a knack at getting to those. So I'll be that guy for you. Several of you have come in and asked me about where your taxes go. And I think probably during that conversation, minds have been changed quite a bit. There's a perception, it's even been said tonight, that we pay 5 times as much taxes to the township. Well, we need to be very fair in the fact that the township, just like the village, and any taxing entity, is a pass-through. They're not keeping nearly, they're keeping a very small percentage of that money they're collecting from you. They collect it to send it to the county, to send it to the state, to send it to the school, to send it to the police, to send it to the fire. Okay, so there's a long list of taxes that you're paying, and I have them here, and I actually have them down to the penny, and can tell you to the penny of what you're paying for each one of those services. And so I just wanted to be very clear that there's kind of 3 parties, right? There's the village, the township, and the petitioners. The petitioners are the only ones who are in a place to answer most of our questions, okay? The village is the one least in a place, because the other questions you have is, what will the township do? Well, we need to be defensive of our community partner in the township as well. They don't have all these answers because this is thrown upon them as well. So they're no doubt developing a plan, and we know that we'd be required to work together to figure out what that plan of transition would be. But please understand, I completely understand there's a lot of frustration, and there should be, but we want to be clear tonight about the fact that there are 3 parties and they're in different positions to answer different questions. So questions about what you get for your tax dollars, where your tax dollars go, what the village does with them, this is the panel to answer those with some expertise. The other ones we may have to say, we're researching that, and that's what we're doing tonight as the host, is trying to gather all of your questions to try to crystallize what the questions are and help point them to the parties that can answer them.
Thank you very much. Okay, this takes us to the part of the meeting that we're all here for, and that's to hear from you guys. You got a chance to hear from all of the elected officials that are sitting at this table. There is a little bit of a sign-in sheet, but don't worry, if you didn't sign in, you're still going to get a chance to speak. everyone who wants to speak will get a chance to. Based on the little list I have, first up is Selena. If somebody named Selena is here and wants to speak.
I think that's their corporate name, Selena Properties. I'm not sure. That's how
Oh,
they
Selena
signed it.
Properties, okay. Properties is not their last name, it's their, please come on up, because whatever you have to say is going to be important enough that everybody's going to want to hear it.
Well, I am here as a taxpayer, however, I have 0 voting rights in the township or the village. I moved out of the community about 7 years ago to go take care of my father-in-law. So unfortunately, we can't vote, but this does directly affect us. So I felt like this was my only opportunity for our voice to be heard. We own the building at 384 South Ortonville Road, which is directly on M15. We currently pay village and township taxes. The township taxes cover all of our needs in regards to police, fire, and EMS. To this day, I am not sure why we pay village taxes. I'm not sure what our taxes that we pay go for. The DPW does not cover M15. That is covered by Road Commission. The DDA does not benefit us as we are not part of the Main Street community. We couldn't even get the grant to help the facade of our building because we're on M15. So we're paying taxes for services that we cannot use. And I understand that I am a very, very small percentage of the community, but there are businesses, myself, Hamilton's, MDTS, laser lines. There's several of us businesses that pay these taxes. And so my question to the council is, would there ever be a way to redistrict the village lines to not include the businesses that don't get the village services?
Great question.
So that's the first part. The second part is the bickering I've witnessed between the village and the township in regards to local events that would benefit businesses have been unacceptable in my opinion. Ortonville has been not a successful village for a few years. Businesses are moving out of the village. They're, having harder times getting people to come into the village to support the businesses. Not saying that dissolving the village would help that, but maybe only one set of fingers in the pot might help if you didn't have the conflict between the village and the township. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we get going any further, I just want to mention to everybody here that wants to come up and speak, again, everybody's going to get a chance to, but because there are so many people here, at our meetings years ago, there used to be the 3-minute time limit. If somebody came up to speak after the 3 minutes, the gong fell and the curtain came down and they were asked to leave. I don't really like doing things that way, but I do want everybody here to keep in mind that about 2 to 3 minutes is about enough time to say what you have to say. And then I won't have to cut anybody off and move on. So with that being said, we'll keep things limited. We'll keep them moving around. And next on the list is Brian Reed. Yes, sir.
All right, hello. Hey, I'm Brian. I live in the village. Lived there for 28 years. Lived in Brandon my whole entire life. Can you give me a 15-second warning? The Brandon Township, I don't need that.
Oh, okay.
Brandon Township cut me off at 3 minutes. I had to go back to my seat. They did give me an extra 10 seconds, so give me a 15-second warning. But anyways, lived here my whole life. Graduated in 1988 from Brandon High School, so definitely vested in the community. A lot of things have happened that I'd like answers for. I want to know, did we receive written notice that the lights were going to be shut off? I already know there was a problem. Who pays them? A handshake deal a long time ago. Did we receive notice? Who received the notice? Was it in writing? Dana has told me she has the email stating that it was emailed. Who has the email? When did you get notified? What actions did you take to ensure the lights were paid or the relay was put in? Want to know that piece of it. Timing of it, very suspect as far as the township. It seems like could have just shut them down sooner, but they wouldn't want to wreck the trick-or-treating where the whole township comes, plus other communities wouldn't want to do that. Wouldn't want to destroy the Christmas in the village that everybody benefits from. That wouldn't be good, but hey, let's pick January. So it's the big, I call the big guy, the township, kind of playing their cards right perfectly to make the village look like they don't know what they're doing. But again, I would like those answers. Did you receive written notice? Why did it come to that? Why didn't we address it? Next thing is, thank you, special assessment. It seems like nobody understands what special assessment is. It's simple math and it's simple how it can be done. The township will essentially decide who pays what when. Or it'll go to a vote where the whole township votes. You have to understand that. To me, it doesn't matter to me either way. If it's township, village, I want to protect the village because I live in the village and I see the vested interest of keeping it under our control. I like that I'm going to have representatives here at this table. They're going to listen to me and then we'll all vote, just like we did in sewers 10 years ago that failed. Maybe the next time it will pass with more information or more understanding of everything. We don't know because I'm not anti-sewer or for sewers, whatever can make us better with keeping our historical charm. That is important. I don't want to be like Clarkson or anything else. Businesses that come in and go, they're going to have the biggest benefit. You get sewers in, then they're going to be able to sell their properties a lot, but they're not living here. They don't have a vested interest of what Ortonville looks like. I do, even after I'm gone. I plan on staying here for the rest of my life. My kids will probably take over the place I live. They will live here, hopefully have kids here that go up through the Brandon system as I did. And I want their vote to be with the village, not a bigger part of the township. Again, nothing against the township. I'm not trying to accuse them of anything. It's optics, though. Optics matter. I appreciate you guys having this meeting because the township hasn't. Again, they were, boom, time, 15 seconds. Can I have 10 seconds? No, we don't tell you when your time's up. They did give me time. Dana, I do want to recognize, though. Thank you, because anything I've asked you, you have answered as much as you could, gave me all the information, took me after the meeting, spent time with me. So shout out to Dana on that piece of it. So, and again, this town has done a lot of handshake deals. Even Glover, if you go through all the meetings in the last year or two, he said it himself that this is operated on handshake deals. If you can't trust Glover, then who you can trust? He's saying that it was operated that way. So those that say it wasn't, incorrect in my opinion. So that's I just want to make sure everyone's informed. Whatever you vote, in or out or whatever, I'm here to help the village in any way I can. And Katie Vick, I don't know if you're out there. You blocked me on Facebook, but you never told me what I was saying was wrong. I respond on those things like, wait a minute, special assessment works this way. And I simply ask Katie, do you live in the village or Brandon Township? You don't. You don't. So you shouldn't have to block me. I was asking respectful questions. Thank you. Read through there.
Thank you, sir.
Well, there's some comment on social media. Okay. Thanks, Brian. Next up is Tony Swoop, I believe. Is there a Tony here?
I'm here.
You're here. Good to hear.
Mine is going to be really brief.
You,
I haven't
sir,
been here very long.
You get the microphone.
don't need
and you
this.
get Okay.
I haven't been here very long, only about 15 years, and I live as far out in this village as you possibly can be. I live on Linda K, which one side of our street is the village and the other side is the township. So, we don't get very many services, to be honest with you. But I love the township, or I love the village. Let me correct that. My only question is if this activity afoot for the petition to dissolve the village, if this is going to be, you never know whether it's a one and done. So it may not pass this time, but next year it may pass. So has the board ever considered incorporating as a city? If they incorporate as a city under the Home Rule Enabling Act of 1907, for which I was not born then, in case you're wondering, for that Home Rule Enabling Act, a village can become a city and incorporate bits and pieces of a township. They don't have to take the whole township. They can just take parts of it. So, just food for thought, just to cover our bases, because the fear is, great, everybody's here and this is awesome. But if they change their mind a year down the road and they say, you know what, we're going to try this one more time. We're going to push because now it's because sewers or whatever. So that's the only thing. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And that cityhood thing is something that we have thought about before. So it is on the, it's on either the back burner or the front burner. But nonetheless, that would solve our problems initially. Next up is Paula. Is Paula here?
What's the last name?
Y-O-N-S-T.
Yes.
Paula, you get to speak to the entire board.
I will use this. I have a whole slew of questions. I'm not gonna ask all of them because they're probably the same as everybody else. Alex, I really like and appreciated what you spoke. I have to say, I haven't seen the petition, I haven't read the petition, I don't know what the petition is, but it just seems like one more occurrence where we put the cart before the horse. There's so many questions, so many things that can't be answered. And one of my questions is, what kind of timeline are we looking at? So how many votes does this petition have to have in order to pass to go on the ballot? How many signatures does it currently have? If people say it goes on the ballot, like, how long is it gonna take to get all the information we need to answer our questions? Do we have a sufficient amount of time between now and when it would have to go on the ballot to get all of the answers that we need? You know, like, and it's not just tax dollars. Are you gonna save $100, or are you gonna have to pay $100 more? It's your community, it's the atmosphere. Maybe having a business on M15, it doesn't draw the people directly to your business, but people are, the only way in to the village is coming along M15. Who's gonna have, like, what's gonna happen to all those events, community events that does help draw extra people into the village? I've lived here for over 25 years. I've worked outside of the village most of that time. The last few months, I now work down in the village, and I'm gaining a much bigger appreciation for what goes on and how those events really help those local businesses. What happens to the assets? All of the work that has to be done to come up with this. What's the cost associated with that? Who's gonna pay for those costs? If you're gonna have to hire accountants to value your assets. Who's gonna pay that bill? How much is that gonna cost? There's just way more questions. And as Alex said too, like, what about all the buildings? Like, what about the village building? What happens to this village council? What happens to the village manager position? Are those all obsolete? Who represents those people that now are current villagers? Who represents us within the township? Are they gonna have more positions on the township board? I don't know. That's probably just a drop in the bucket of the questions that I have. But, I'll leave it at that.
Great questions, Paula. Thank you. When everybody came in, there was a little sign-in sheet that if you wanted to speak to the board, you would put your name on. 4 people put their name on. I'm quite certain there's a lot more than just 4 people that would like to speak to the council today. So I've already gone through the list of 4 on the sign-in sheet, but I'm going to open it up now to.
I do have that one written one.
A written person?
We did. So we did request solicitations of any written ones beforehand. We did receive one. I'm going to just read to you. To those of us that love our little village of Ortonville, there are more major implications to this petition than just dollars and cents. This petition, if passed, would be a major change to the village's life and property as it's existed for the last 178 years. The village's survival now appears to be threatened by this petition. Its verbiage appears misleading at best, if not untrue. The township for years could not even maintain their township park, is now expected to care for the village of Ortonville. We have one of the best DPW departments around, from snow removal, spring cleanup, fall cleanup, village park maintenance, road closures for Septemberfest, Halloween, Christmas in the Village, homecoming parades, not to mention the decorating and cleanup after these events. The township says they will maintain the village, but who's going to pay for it? The entire township? Or will there be special assessments against village properties for this maintenance? Any road improvements would still be a special assessment against properties. How many assessments could be added to a village taxpayer, negating any possible tax savings? Also, what will happen to the DDA? Can it still exist? There are far too many changes with no clear answers in writing being presented. If anything, what the township will do, if anything, for the village. The village will be under the control of people that do not necessarily live in the village and are not on a daily basis, not here on a daily basis. Now the village council members live in the village, they see the downtown every day, they know what's going on. Unlike township board members, they only have to reside in the township. Make no mistake, there's more on the line here than just a village tax dollar amount. And that's from Dan and Luann Mann.
Very nice. They're in Florida. They're my neighbors. They live across the street. Anybody can raise their hand. Right over here, if you don't mind, please come up.
Oh, I got a big voice.
I can already tell that.
I've read the articles.
Name and
in the
address,
paper.
please.
I've talked to the
Yeah,
natives.
I'm sorry. We got to get your name down.
My name's Lori Greco.
Okay.
I live in the village. I've only been here 6 years. I love it here because it is small. It's quaint. I don't like the taxes either. But I look at what the tax dollars are doing. I look at a safe community. I look at the people and the environment here. You can walk the streets. I appreciate my sidewalk and streets plowed. Troy and Rochester doesn't have that. But my question really is, if after talking with people and reading, and I've not heard it, help me understand the petitioners put this out because why? What is their goal? What is their goal for this petition?
That's a great question for the petitioner.
And you don't have, nobody has an answer.
I've never seen the petition. I've never
I
read
haven't
it.
either.
I don't even know what it contains.
I can't sign a petition that I don't know what it's gonna do. I mean, I know the outcome is to absorb by the township.
I
That's
suppose
not an answer.
That's not an answer. And there's a lot of questions, and that's the reason we're here.
Okay.
But we have never been furnished one teeny tiny shred of information or evidence indicating what this petition is about or why it's even in existence. That's our purpose for being here, is so that we can learn, we can research this, and we can come back and have valid answers to all these questions, because some of them are questions that I have as well. So thank you so much. And I see over here, Glennis, right?
Hi, Glennis Hubbard. So, are the petitioners here?
I don't know. I don't even know who they are.
I do not see them.
It is the cracks.
Oh, they're not here.
But it seems like that we're all here to ask questions. And we all seem
Glennis, I just want to say that this town hall meeting was called by the village council, and all interested parties were invited. The township, the petitioners, the DDA, the business owners in town were all.
I don't think the business owners.
The business owners are. They are. Anyways, a lot of people were invited to attend this meeting for the purpose of putting things out there for us to handle and research. So I don't know who the petitioners are, and I don't even know what it says. I think that's going to come to light at some point.
So then where does this meeting go from here? Because Paula brought up some great questions that I think that many of us have. Obviously, we don't know how many signatures are on the petitions, but how many signatures what happens if they get the signatures? Where does the board stand? What do we all do? What kind of repercussions, or not repercussions, that's not a good word, what kind of recourse do we have? What steps do we have once the petition goes before a vote?
I personally think that if somebody's shooting at you, you got to know where the bullets are coming from before you can even defend yourself against them. So that's where we're at right now. There are bullets coming, heaved at the village's direction with no clear indication to us as to what it's about, why this is happening, and what we can do to prevent it. But we will take every step. As village president, I will fight this tooth and nail to get this petition squashed.
Where's the board going to go from here? What are your steps? What are your
We will have to wait for the petition to be filed, and once it's filed at the elections division or at the county clerk's office or the township clerk's office, once it gets filed, then we will have an actual written document of which we can address, and we will address it in form of Who signed it? Were they village residents? Were they not? Are they valid? Are they not valid? Those are all things we're gonna have to look at, but we can't do it until that time comes. So maybe we're a little premature in holding a town hall meeting. However, I don't think we're premature. I think we're right on the mark, hearing from the residents first, so that as time goes on, I've heard words that, the petition's due in a day or two, and it could be on a May ballot or a August ballot, or maybe even a next November ballot. I don't even know that. And that will have a lot to do with the manner in which we defend this.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Over here.
Got a fellow over there and a lady over there, both of them.
Okay. Who over here had a hand raised?
Guy with the black coat.
He had his hand up first, but I just had a very quick question.
Well, go ahead with your quick question.
We need your name.
I'm Tracy Green. I live in the township. I just came because I don't understand. I would love to hear in layman's terms what the process is. So if a petition is going around, what is the amount of signatures? Then, once they get the amount of signatures, where does it go from there? Does it go on a ballot? Is there a time frame? I'm sure that there are governmental or logistical questions that can be answered. Maybe they are on your website, I don't know.
Well, they're not on our website, but I think it's important enough to interject with an answer because it's something that matters greatly to understand where we're at in the process right now. Essentially, there's a petition circulating, means right now we're at rumor level, okay? Nothing is official yet, nothing is anything yet. If they're able to garner a certain number of validated signatures, meaning a certain number of residents who actually are voting eligible residents of the village, and then there's an additional number they can garner from the township, and they verify all those, then they submit language to go on a ballot. That language goes to the county board of election, the election bureau is what it's called. They see that, the clerk being Ms. Blair, the clerk here in Brandon Township, and the county clerk both vet out the signatures, they vet out the language to go on the ballot, then the proposed language comes out, then it goes on a ballot for vote. Okay, so we're talking possibly, now there's a deadline tomorrow for ballot language that I'm not going to sit here and pontificate whether or not they're going to meet that for the upcoming election.
Well, then let's not pontificate.
Most likely, there's the next ballot language deadline is in May to be on the August ballot, right? So all this stuff is structured where there are different deadlines for different elections. If you want, our best guess is November would be the most likely time if it were successful at getting on a ballot. That would most likely be the ballot, the first one you might see this on.
But that alone is guesswork. So
thank you, that's helpful.
You're welcome.
That.
And sir, you next.
Can I interject something here, Ken? So,
You may.
if it goes on the August or November, most likely November, but they need 180 signatures is what they need on this petition.
80?
180.
Village signature.
Village signatures. And then if it goes on the ballot, they need 66% of village residents to vote yes. 66%. So that's what I found out today.
Okay, thank you. Beth, you have a question over here. I will get back over there.
I'm Jeff. I'm just speculating. I know a wealthy businessman that owns a building in the village. I'm not going to say which building. No. Just speculating, but he had made a statement like if the village was dissolved, the sewers would pass. So if you dissolve the village, the township would vote the sewers in. And
I'm not sure that those issues are tied together.
I'm not sure, but this is from a business owner that owns a building down there. So his future may depend on the village, either be.
So does my future. My wife and I own a foot shop right in downtown Ortonville. We've had it for a couple of years. So we have a vested interest in the village as well, and it's in sewers and all the items that we are now facing.
Jeff, what was your last name?
I'm sorry?
Your last name, please?
Bremner.
Thank you.
I live in the village too, and I love the village. I've been here since 2002.
Thank you
I
very,
like
very
the
much.
village, so-
Anybody on this side of the building, on this side of the room, that wanted to raise their hand? Everybody's good. How about this? Well, I'll get over there, Allie. How about the middle section? Yes, sir.
My name's Al Hubbard. I have a question regarding the comment that you made. And that is, years ago, and I've been a resident for almost 40 years, I thought the village and the township got along pretty good. And you had mentioned in the last couple of years, that seems to maybe dismantle itself.
It's frayed a little bit.
Why? Why? You're all here to serve us.
Yes.
How can we all get along so that we, as residents, both township and village, get what we need? The lights being off at January, 3 weeks, whatever, that's ridiculous. And what I heard was it's because there was spat going between the village and the township. We paid the price for that. Everyone in this room paid the price. I don't know what it's gonna take, but as a resident and township resident, resident of the village, I would like to implore that as big people, we figure out how we can mend this relationship with the township.
Thank you.
Perfect words. Very well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. Anybody else on this side of the building, or this side of the aisle?
I know I had my chance, but I'm taking chances.
Okay, well, let's see here. Okay.
What was the remainder?
I just have a question when you're talking about the timing of the ballots.
Yep.
So if they get sufficient petitions, they can go and file it or whatever, and then it would be on the ballot. So it could potentially be on the ballot before we have any of these answers.
Yes, yes, it could.
That's really scary.
Yep.
Well, it is scary, and that would be up to the petitioner to bring forward some of this information, because it seems to be under wraps right now, or at least nothing has been presented to us yet.
I'm Jane Jerry Burkett. I live in the village. I've been here since 1999.
Could you speak up?
On the mic. I'm on the mic. I'm on the mic. I've been here since 1999. I guess my big question is, I mean, when was the petition out? A couple months now? A month?
No, they only have a
4 weeks
period.
maybe? I don't.
Yeah,
we
not
don't,
even.
we don't
So I guess my big question is, I mean, why doesn't somebody approach them and ask? I feel like as a council, you're here to protect us, and then you saw the petition. Then why didn't somebody invite them in, talk with them, and get this figured out and find out where they're coming from, so that you honestly have some answers for us? Because you're here to serve us. We pay a
Absolutely.
tax. You guys are, volunteering. I've done my volunteer in the community, giving my time. So that's kind of how that shocks me, number one. Number two, I really want the mending of the relationships between the township and the village. It's old. I don't like the fights going on in the paper. I think it's ridiculous. And it makes us all look terrible, and I don't feel represented, honestly, when you're having squabbles in the paper.
Amen.
Yeah, we agree.
Absolutely right.
I found these other questions are gonna be hard to answer, but
I'm going to go through the audience first, and then I'll...
That is an audience member.
Yes, sir. You're Mr. Tony Candeloro?
Tony Candeloro, Brandon
Yes, sir.
Township trustee. Melanie, my question was for you on that 66%, and I don't know the answer to this is why I wanted to ask. Is that 66% of village residents, or 66% of the village residents that voted that day?
That vote.
Vote that day, yeah. So, that could be a different number.
Thank you very much, Tony. Ally, I think you had your hand up.
Oh, I hate standing up. Can I just sit down? I think everyone pretty much knows me. I'm Ally Reese. I live in the village of Ortonville. I'm a realtor. We own Clearwater Campground. We've been cemented here for a long time. We love to support this village. I will continue to do so as a DDA member, as a realtor, as a village resident. My biggest thing at this point right now is I think this meeting specifically and others are very premature. We don't have facts and figures. Until we have that, there's really no point in doing this. My other thing is, the other week, there was something on social media about, there was a pie chart from Brandon Township, which was very smart of them, showing where your taxes go. They actually did a visual of exactly where your taxes go. What I've been getting questions about, and what I wanna know personally is, where are our taxes going for the village? What are we paying for? There's nothing as a breakdown as to where your salaries go, where the monies go, what's everything coming to. I think that's the biggest concern is, why are we paying all this extra money? Where is it going to?
Well, we do a budget every year, and we have a budget workshop, and these are all open to the public. So in April, we do a budget workshop, then in May, we get a proposed budget, and then in June, we pass what's called our final budget, and it shows where every nickel of tax dollars go. Now, I get it. Not everybody's going to be aware of it. Not everybody wants to be aware of it. I mean, does everybody want to see if, you know, what certain things are on our line items that we spend money on?
Well, I think now, especially, people want to know what is going on.
It's available.
We have a budget, we do it every year,
Well,
and
I
it's
think
available.
we need to have
It's
this
published.
available-ish right now.
Someone asked if you guys were gonna bring that. That's part of the township issue is we.
What's her question? I can't hear it.
Oh, get into the mic.
I was just gonna say that I have a list of stuff and I was just gonna talk after I hear everybody's concerns, so that's why I'm here as the township, as treasurer for the township. But one of my questions is that I've gone out to the website and I've tried to find the financials and the budget. And I know that people had asked if it was gonna be here tonight, but I can't do any due diligence on the numbers until we're provided with the numbers from the village. And I haven't seen a current financial or anything since like September. And now we're in February, going on March. So it's kinda hard for us to come up with any numbers if this thing goes through. But I can say this wasn't a township thing. We had no clue about it either. So that's why we're not prepared either, but I'm trying to get prepared.
Thank you very much. And contrary to what Allie Reese just said, I think this meeting's very important, and I don't think it's premature. I think we may have another one of these, you know, in a month or two as things start to cement themselves and as things start to become more clear. At the moment, as I mentioned in the very beginning, we are, as a village, we are blindsided with this petition and all of your answers, but we want to hear about the questions so we can get them. That's the whole reason for being here, and I think it's an honorable reason, and it is well-timed. Before I sit down and read off some questions that people have submitted, is there anybody who's in this audience that would like to speak right now?
Tanya? She spoke. Oh,
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay, thank you very much, and that will conclude the citizen response portion of this meeting. Oh.
Well, this is really our meeting for the village.
As I said, the township had nothing to do with this. There's some things I wanted to go through, and Allie was right, we did do a pie chart, and yes, you do pay more taxes to the township than you do to the village, but the question really is the operating, because all of the township money goes to the schools, it goes out to Oakland County. There's my pie chart, I brought it with me. So, as a township resident, you do pay 40 mills. 41% goes to county, that's 16 mills. 12 mills go to the school, that's 30%. 1.8 goes to the library, that's 5%. 24% goes to the township stuff, but of that, 10% is fire, or actually 12% is fire, 9% is police, and only 2%, so 0.9 of a mil, stays in the township for its operating. That's all you pay. So yes, you do pay more to the township, but as you just saw, everything goes out except for 0.9 of a mil. I know the village mills are 8 something, and that all stays in the village for their operating. So if you want to compare operating to operating, it's 8 mills versus 0.9. That is the comparison, not 5%, because I collect the money, I'm the treasurer, and I send most of it out, besides 2%. The village, or the township does have SADs. We have SADs for some of the lakes, we have SADs for some of the roads, and the SADs are voted on by the people who it would be assessed. So if a SAD went into place, it can only be voted on by the people who would be taxed. The whole township cannot vote on your SAD. it would only be who got a SAD. So I wanted to make that clear. As I said before, the township had nothing to do with this. A SAD can be many different years. You could do 5 years, you could do 10 years. The township cannot just place the SAD in without a vote. So we can't just put a SAD on the village if this went through.
What is the SAD?
The SAD is a special assessment district that everybody was talking about, saying that we would put it on for 10 years, or what the millage amount would be, or that everybody would vote on it. You can't do that with the SAD. Only the people who can pay it can vote on it.
So that means that, sorry, Dana.
No, go ahead.
So the DPW would have been on a SAD, correct? Is that
Well,
what I remember
right now the
hearing?
DPW is not on a SAD.
Well, not right now because they're with the village, but with.
I can't say what the township would do, but like, okay, so one thing is the village gets revenue sharing money, and that would still come in. So the revenue sharing money that comes in from for the village portion would stay with the village. And again, this is just me talking, there's a full board, but obviously I have thoughts of what I would do, and I talked to Paula about it the other day. I'm sorry I'm taking more than 3 minutes, is that okay?
Well, you can't get a dialogue back and forth. Say
Okay.
what you want to say.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, as I can say that I would look at a committee, some people from the township, some people from the village, our village board, or our township board, the village board people, a few people, and figure out things if it comes down to it. We're not prepared because obviously we don't have numbers. Are the financials here? I'd love to see the numbers. That would help us if this goes through, obviously. I don't want to see the village change. I love the village. I'm down there every day. I work there every day. I'm part of the DDA. I go there for the events. The events many are put on by the DDA, some are put on by the township, and some are put on by the village. So it's a work between all of us. The DDA can expand though the district to the businesses, and obviously if things happen, then we would have to see where the money goes and see what would happen with the SAD, but it would only be again for the area that it would need it, and not saying that there would be a SAD or there wouldn't be. Again, we need to look into it. But I came here to hear the concerns of all the residents so we can figure things out if that time comes. I think that's it.
Thank you very much.
Dana's made several references to a SAD, meaning SAD, Special Assessment District. If anybody brought a thesaurus here with them today, and you look up Special Assessment District, the first word's gonna be tax. So call it what you want, it's tax, and you are paying it if one is established to cover the village. So tax is the better word. It's phony to say SAD. Oh God, who knows what it is? They didn't even know. It's tax. It means the township can vote on a special assessment district and tax you more.
They have to vote on it though.
They have to vote on it, but it's a tax. It's a tax.
The residents of the SAD district.
Yes, sir.
Well, I just want to clarify, she was saying if the residents that is going to be taxed would have to vote on it.
Correct.
That's correct.
Correct.
That's correct.
No.
Right.
It's still a tax. You call it what you want. It's a zebra with stripes, and it's a tax.
Can he correct something though? You want the money, could you correct that, please?
No.
Well, he needs to.
I saw a hand come up.
This is Bob MacArthur, old-time fire chief.
And I'm sitting here with about 220 years of Ortonville. Mary's the oldest.
Is that right, Mary?
But I just want to, Ortonville obviously is extremely important to us, or has been, and we don't want to see dramatic changes in what happens. I know Karen's parents go back to 1920, probably, and something like that, back into this community. But, and this is what it is. I have been chairman of the DDA back when the TIFA was developed, and we listened to the same stories, mostly from the village. The township is after us. The township is going to take it. And here we are, but it has to be another 40, 50 years later, and something is happening. But I've heard a lot of statements being made that don't appear to be accurate to me. I can't
Yes.
tell you for sure or not that they were accurate, but we're hearing a lot of different statements, and it's disgusting to sit here, and it's almost like little kids. This is where the problem lies with the township. Somebody says something, and the next thing it's gospel. Those SADs are all over the township. There's several of them. You want your private road blacktop, SAD, and you pay that taxes to make that happen. And that's, in the village, that's what would occur. They would pay just that amount of money to manage the village, if it happened. You know, I'm way up in the air of not knowing what the heck I'm doing with it, so.
Thank you very much. No, actually I don't. I know what one is. You want to teach a course or something, go right ahead, you can put something online. But we're good on that, and we're premature on that as well. I will just go one more time back over here into this corner for the gentleman who's got his hand up.
Yeah, I have a question. My name's Brian Bowen. I've lived here my whole life, 45 years. And lately, what, 6 months ago, they had that new road surfacing through the village. So I live in the Pinestead subdivision off of Oakwood Road. At any point until they stopped, and I understand around November, you can't really pave anymore because of the temperature. Did anyone at any point drive around after that part of that project was done before they had to close up to see the quality that they did, that we paid for? Because I can tell you very much so that someone needs to drive through my subdivision and look at everywhere they paved, because I could have done a better job with my eyes closed. What are you trying? And that's gospel if there's ever been one.
Thank you very much for your comments. Okay, that basically concludes the citizen portion of addressing the village council. So.
I live in that sub, and it is.
I don't know.
Those are doesn't matter. Okay, thank you very much for coming. I would like to call this meeting to a close.